Now there's a couple of you on here right now. We'll get going here in just a minute. I wanted to start it kind of early to make sure everything is working the way it's supposed to. So I see there's a few of you on YouTube. So hi Louise and Rhonda. Trying to see if it's live in Scrapbookers or not. Because it's been a while since I've done this, so we'll give it a couple of minutes here. Thank you, Tammy. Yeah, I saw your link. It should be set up where it should go live there as well, not just the link for YouTube. So, but I don't think it's turning itself on, or I don't think it actually goes live for another couple minutes. But, yeah, so we'll get going here in just a minute. I know a lot of you got the kit, and those that didn't, that's absolutely fine, and we will get it figured out and go from there. Okay. Okay, it's live in Scrapbooker, so I set it up right. Okay, so we'll give people a few minutes to get on, especially those that are looking for it in Scrapbookers as opposed to just, those of you that are on YouTube. I wanted to make sure it was both places so it was easy to find. And we'll go from there. So, all right. Let me see. All right. Yes, I see a couple of you on Scrapbookers as well. So, we're going to give it a minute or two and then we'll get going. Just because there is always a delay. So, if you have a question or something and I don't answer immediately, I do have it up off to the side here where I can see the chat on both on YouTube and on Facebook. But there is a delay, so it will take a second before I see comments and things as they happen. So, hey, TC, Teresa, we've got Susan, Monica, YouTube, I'm seeing Louise, which that was fun talking to you yesterday on our virtual crop. I see Rhonda, Alice, I'm not sure who that is or how to pronounce it, but there's another one that starts with TR. All right, we've got Kathy. Who else have we got on? We got Peggy and Monica on Facebook. Okay, so let's take a look at the project really quick. So this one, you guys are going to die with how easy this is. Like, seriously, it's so simple, and there's actually a couple of different things you can do with it. But what we have is just a little double-sided folio. So we've got just a little belly band to hold it closed. Opens up like so. You've got pockets on both sides here. This flips down, so you've got a nice big photo mat, and then it's got a small waterfall in the middle, okay? So when you fold it up and turn it over, it repeats on the opposite side. And what's really cool with this one is you can make it so it's double-sided like this, or you can make it with just one side and end up with two projects out of the same kit and tutorial and everything else. So I see Tanya. Who else have I got here? All right, so if you did get the kit from Country Craft Creations, you're going to have your collection kit, and then you're going to have, I don't remember if it was 5 or 6 sheets of Artisan. I honestly don't remember. Hey, Gina! So if you bought the kit, that's what you have. If you didn't buy the kit, not a big deal. It's really minimal supplies on this one, and it's going to be super, super easy to do. So let's start cutting. So we're going to do, first thing we're going to cut are our base pieces. So we need 2 pieces that are 4.5 by 7 3/8. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut your 7 3/8 first. And then any of these little strips we have like this, set them aside because we will use them towards the end of the cutting. Okay. So 7 3/8 and then 4.5. Okay. So what I'm going to do as I cut these, I'm going to make 2 piles. So those are 2 bases. Our side flaps, we're going to cut 4. So we are going to cut this to 6 3/4. Again, take this nice piece, set it to the side, and then we're going to go 5 1/4. Okay, so those are the side flaps for one side, and we'll do that a second time. So again, oh, thank you, Ronnie. It was 6 sheets. I honestly couldn't remember because I designed this like, I don't know, I think before Halloween, right after Halloween, so it's been a while. Okay, so we're going to cut 2 more that are 6 3/4 by 5 1/4. Okay. The bottom flap, we need 2 pieces, 6 3/4 by 4.5. Look at my chat really quick. I see Cheryl and Diane. Okay, so 2 bottom flaps, 6 3/4 by 5.5. I'm sorry, 4.5. 4.5, not 5.5. The pocket, there's going to be 4 of these, and they are going to be 3.5 by 5.5. So I'm going to actually cut 3.5 and 3.5, and then cut those 2 pieces down to 5.5. So 2 on each pile. Okay. And then our waterfall, we're going to have 10 pieces total. And that's where I'm thinking it really would have been 5, not 6, because I believe we can get them all out of our scraps off to the side here. So that'll give you an extra piece to mat your stickers and that kind of thing, and make it a little bit easier. So the waterfall, we need 10 pieces, 4 1/8 by 4 5/8. So this one is just right at 4 5/8, almost. I've got like a sliver I need to take off of that. And then 4 1/8. Four 5/8 again, and then 2 more 4 1/8. Grab some of these out of the way. And again, 4 5/8. And 4 1/8. Okay, so how many are we at here? 6, 4, 6. Yep, so we need 4 more. So again, 4 5/8. Four 1/8. And our last big scrap again. One more time. 4 5/8. And then down to 4 1/8. Okay, so we'll have 10 of those, and you're going to put 5 on each one of your stacks. Okay, that is all of our cutting for right now. So I'm going to move that out of the way, and I'm going to grab my scoreboard. And we're going to do 1/2 and then we'll do the other half. So I'm going to take one of my stacks and just set it to the side. Okay. Let me grab some scissors. Let me just see how everybody's doing so far. I think we're good. And I do have this completely recorded like a normal tutorial style, so you can stop and start. And I will post that once this is done. Okay, so we're going to start with just scoring our waterfall pieces because they're very straightforward, nothing difficult about those. So you're going to put the 4 5/8 at the top of your scoreboard, and keep in mind most people run their scoreboards like this, so you're going down. I can't get it to score straight if I do it that way. So I do use mine sideways. I know that's kind of weird and it will throw people off, especially if you have not watched one of my tutorials and seen me do this before. But I just find it's easier because then it's more like I'm writing, and then I can actually get my straight score lines. So 4 5/8 at the top of your scoreboard, or in my case, to the side. And then we're going to score it 1/2 inch. And we're going to do that on all 5 of these waterfall pieces. And then we can, sorry, I have my note over here of how I did all this. So, okay, so there's our 5 waterfall pieces. I'm going to set those to the side. We then have our 2 pocket pieces. These are the 2 pieces that are 5 1/2 by 3 1/2. we're going to start with 5.5 at the top of the scoreboard. We're going to score 1/2 inch, turn, 1/2 inch again, turn, and 1/2 inch. Okay, like that. And we're going to do that on both of those pieces. So 1/2 inch, turn, 1/2 inch, turn, and 1/2 inch again. Okay, so there's our pocket pieces. The next piece, based on the way we stacked it, is going to be our bottom flap. So the bottom flap is 6 3/4 by 4.5, with the 6 3/4 at the top of the scoreboard. Wait a minute, hold on. Just kidding. The bottom flap does not get scored. That's what's throwing me, is because I did this a little bit differently than I typically would have. So the bottom flap we can just add to our stack. Okay, side flaps. These are the two pieces that are 6 3/4 by 4 1/4. You're going to put the 5 1/4, so the shorter side, at the top of your scoreboard. We are going to score this at 1/2 and 3/4, so that you'll have that little 1/4 inch gusset. Okay, and we're going to do that on both of those pieces. And 3/4. Okay, so 1/2 inch and 3/4 on both of those. Our base, this is going to be the 7 3/8 by 4.5. We're going to put the 7 3/8 at the top. We are going to score this at 1/2 inch and 5/8. So the 5/8 is that little mark in between the 1/2 and the 3/4 on your scoreboard, depending on which one you have, if it's this one or if it's the Score Pal. Okay, so that's our scoring for 1/2. For the other half, it's the exact same thing. We'll do that together as well, but for right now, this is where we're at. Okay, so yes, Fauna, my scoreboard's facing the wrong way. Yes, and Kathy, no, wait, Charlene, sorry, not Kathy, Charlene. I do have a normal recorded tutorial for this, so we'll put that link up after we do the live version of it. So you'll be able to follow that. You're not going to have the chit chat and all that kind of thing. So you will have that available. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our base piece. Base piece has the 1/2 inch score and then the 5/8. So you've got that little tiny gusset. We are going to miter this from the 1/2 inch line out. And when you're mitering, it's best to start at the score line and go out, as opposed to trying to cut in towards the score line, because you can end up cutting into your score line and you don't want to do that. That's something, you know, I see people do occasionally at the retreats, and I always, you know, if I catch it, I always try and tell them it makes it so much easier to cut that, you know, do that little mitering if you're cutting out from the score line. Okay, so I am going to find my bone folder, literally right there, and I'm going to grab my base piece, or I'm sorry, bottom flap. Base piece, bottom flap. I know what I'm trying to say. Okay, so we're going to fold the 1/2 inch score line in burnish. Okay, and then I'm going to put glue on that little tab. We're not folding our second score line just yet. Okay, so we're going to put some glue here. And then I'm going to lay, I find it easiest if my tab is facing towards me. I'm going to lay that bottom flap on here, because then I can very easily line this up side to side, get it flush at the bottom. Okay, and then burnish that down. Open it up, burnish it down. We're not going to fold that second score line just yet. We're going to put our 2 side flaps on first. Okay. All right. So side flaps. We're going to miter these as well from the 1/2 inch score line out. Okay. Okay. And then again, I'm only going to fold that first score line. We're not going to fold our second one that makes our gusset. We're just going to fold that first score line and burnish that one down. Okay. And the reason we're going to do it that way is it just makes sure that when we glue this down, that we're not gluing it too far in because this is folded over, if that makes sense. Because, and I'll show you just so you kind of see what I'm talking about. So if I have both of them folded in and I'm going to glue this down, you either have to keep that gusset popped up and try to line it up, or you can accidentally end up gluing it down where it ends up being too far in, which is why I don't fold that second one until after I've glued it. So hopefully that makes sense. Just kind of one of the little tricks I've learned over the years. So I'm going to go ahead and get some glue on here. And again, we're going to lay this down all the way to the outside edge, top corner, and make sure you're lined up along the top here and burnish it down. Okay. Then you can fold over. So which I'll show you on the second one. Okay. Turn it around. We're going to do the same thing again. Okay. Top corner, outside edge. Okay. Burnish that down. And then when you go to fold that second score line, you're going to lay this flat and then fold that one up and over and burnish it down. And then push and you've got your gusset. Okay. So that's where we are right now. Oh, thanks, Jen. I do lots of purple nails. I don't know. Most of you know my craft room's purple. I'm not sure, you know, probably pretty obvious. I like purple. Okay, so we've got those pieces on our base. Next thing we're going to do is our pockets. Okay. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to show you just in case, you know, you haven't seen how I do these. Hey, Anne Marie, versus the way I've seen a couple other people do pockets, and I have totally lost my ruler here. No, I put it back in the drawer where it's supposed to go. Imagine that. So you'll see here we've got our score line here. We've got our score line here. Okay. Where they intersect is where we want to cut. And you don't need to draw on your paper to do this. I'm just doing this to make it a little more obvious on camera how I do this. So when I say cut through the corner where the score line intersects, that's what I'm talking about. So we would cut this like that. Okay. So on the one that I didn't write on, you can see where the score lines intersect. So line up, snip that off. The reason I do it that way is when you fold these pieces in, it takes that bulk out of the corners of your pockets. Okay. All right. And then we're going to just do a normal miter at the top of that pocket. Okay. And again, this one I'm going to go ahead and miter my little top pieces first. And then I'll cut through the bottom through those score lines. And there we go. So both of these you can now fold and burnish. Okay, let's see here. No questions so far, so I haven't done a live in a couple of years, so must be doing okay this time. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're folding and burnishing. Of course, it helps too. This project is so easy. And it's one you can make a whole bunch of these in not a lot of time, which is always a good thing. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down. These are going to go on the inside. Okay. The reason they're going to go on the inside is so we don't end up with too much bulk where this doesn't want to close right. Okay. If we did, well, really you could do them on the outside, I guess. Actually, no, you can't. No, you can't. They have to go on the inside. Sorry, I'm like getting ahead of myself here. All right, so when I do my pockets, I like to put glue on that bottom tab first. I'll pinch those down and we'll go right to this outside bottom corner, flush with the bottom, and burnish that down. And sometimes I will come burnish with the bone folder. Most of the time I just do it with my finger, and that's more than enough. Okay, so you've glued your bottom, then I'll fold it out and come in with the glue on those side tabs, and then, whoops, fold it up. Now you'll notice I didn't mat underneath here. You don't need to, because this runs edge to edge. So from the edge of your page to the gusset, you'll be able to mat and slide your matting down in here without any problem. Okay, so let me show you, since I meant to show you on the other one. By cutting through the bottom corner, you'll see these fold almost exactly together. So there's not, if there's any overlap, you're talking like a 32nd of an inch or less. Okay, that's why I do the pockets that way. So we're going to do glue on this bottom tab again. We're going to go down, outside, and burnish that down, and then get our sides. Okay. All right, there we go. So the next thing would be our waterfall. However, we do want to mat the center inside section before we put the waterfall down. So I'm going to grab my paper collection and grab out the paper. And I love Cartabella paper, as you guys know. It's one of my favorites because it's so heavy. It's so nice. So we just need to figure out what paper we want to use. I used, for my center section, the snowflakes on one side. I'm sorry, my son's out there playing Mario Kart, I think against his dad, so I heard him yell. And then I did the plaid over here. It's entirely up to you. Mat it however you want. You just need to pick what it is you want. And I think I want this Merry Christmas. So when we're matting this, so this is from the top to the gusset is 6 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to make this 6 5/8 high. Oops. And I'm not an inker, so if you guys want to ink your papers, feel free. I don't do it very often just because I forget halfway through. I'll get interrupted and forget I was inking, and then only half of it gets inked. So I don't typically ink. Okay, so from our inside gussets on our top, on the side flaps, we've got 4 1/2. So I'm going to go 4 3/8. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and glue that down in here. And so you'll have just that little tiny white border all the way around. Okay, so now we can fold and burnish our waterfall pieces. So I'm going to grab that little pile and just start folding and burnishing so that they're ready to go. Oops. Only one at a time would be really helpful though. Okay, so waterfalls, of course, we're not going to miter our corners. To build the waterfall, I find it helpful to turn my project upside down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put glue on my tab. And I'm going to go right up here. Actually, I'm going to go to the top of the matting rather than the top of the folio, just so we still have our little white strip. Okay, so I've got my first one down, just centered up. I'm going to take my next piece. And this is where I find it easier to do them upside down because I can see exactly where it is I'm trying to put that down at. And then it'll line up just perfectly. But again, it's handmade. If it's slightly off, seriously, people that don't make these, and even people that do make these, they're never going to notice. So, okay. And then the fourth one, and then we'll do it just slightly different on the last piece. And I'll show you why. So there's our fourth piece. The fifth piece, we're not going to glue it so that little tab is there. We're going to fold it back and glue our tab on top of the piece above it. So that when you open this, you don't have that little tab hanging out there. Yes, Anne-Marie, I'm using white artisan. Okay, so let me show you, because when I was making this one and I was matting it, I forgot to flip this one around. So you'll see I've got my waterfall piece and then I've got this little black strip. Whereas on my other side, I did it right. I mean, not necessarily right. I did it where it, you know, looks better. So see, this one I don't have that little strip, but you can tell I almost had that little strip because you can see the glue. So that's why we're going to do it that way. It's a cleaner look. If you don't want to mess with doing it that way, you don't have to. I usually will kind of bend that tab a couple times just so it will move freely. And then we'll go ahead and put our last waterfall piece on. Okay, so now we can fold up our 1/8 inch gusset. Okay, because keep in mind we haven't folded that last little piece yet. So all I do for that is I will lay it down so that the gusset is away from me, and then I just pull it forward with those 1/8 inch gussets. Okay, and then you've got it folded without having to fight with it too much. Okay, and there we go. There's 1/2. So we're going to repeat this entire process with our other half. But like I said, you can make just this piece. And this is a cute, simple, like it could be your family card that you give out to friends, because you could put pictures in here, or, you know, give to grandparents. You know, you make a couple of these, you put pictures of the kids and the family and whatever, you know, fold it all up, and there you go. But we're doing it double-sided. So let's see. Yes, Anne-Marie, I had 6 sheets in the kit. So far I've actually only used 5 of them, and I think the extra one was so you had enough little pieces for matting your stickers. I know what I'm trying to say. And I don't know if you guys got white or black, because I did do my original one with black, and I'm doing it with white now just because then you can see it easier, but it would look really nice with this paper either way. So I'm honestly not sure what color you guys got in the kits, those of you that have the kits. So I think that's why there was the extra sheet, was mostly for matting your cut apart. So we've got one done. We're going to come back and do our second one. So I'm going to use my scoreboard wrong again, Fauna. Oh my gosh. Kathy, so the kits are sold out. They were on the Country Craft Creations website, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I think. Okay, it was black. All right. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Tammy. Like I said, I pulled the white thinking that would be easier for you guys to see what I was doing on, versus I know it's really hard to see like the score lines and stuff on black. But, and of course, if you're just following along or you're making your own, you can do it whatever color you would like. All right, so we're going to score again. So in your little pile, we should be starting with our waterfalls again. So 4 5/8 at the top. Whoops. We're going to score it 1/2 inch. Oh, and Tammy says she's going to have more next week. So hopefully we'll get some more kits out to you guys. So if you're watching this today and you like how it comes out with this paper, you can order a kit. And it will have everything you need, because it's just a fun project and it's an easy project, which Lord knows at the holidays we all need easy projects if we have time to do them at all. Okay, so last waterfall, 4 5/8 at the top, scored at 1/2 inch. Set that to the side. Our 2 pocket pieces again. Okay, and I guess some of you haven't gotten your kits yet. And see, Louise, right? It's easier to use the scoreboard like this. So much easier. Yes, and if your kit hasn't arrived yet, there are more of them shipping out on Monday. So again, like I said, this will stay in Scrapbookers. I think this will actually stay on my YouTube channel too. But I do have like a normal recorded tutorial, so you know, less of my explaining and talking and answering questions, because it's just a normal recorded tutorial. So okay, so pockets. Again, the pockets are 5.5 by 3.5. We're starting with the 5.5 at the top. We're going to score 1/2 inch. Turn. Excuse me. 1/2 inch. Turn, and then 1/2 inch. Yeah, they are definitely playing Mario Kart together out there, because I just heard my husband. And my door is shut, so hopefully you guys aren't hearing them. But they're having fun, so there you go. All right, so pockets. Can't pick it up. Middle flap doesn't get any scoring. Side flaps, you're going to start with the 5 1/4 at the top. We are going to score that at 1/2 and 3/4 on both of those pieces. Why can't I pick this up? So 1/2 inch and 3/4. And then our base, which is 4.5 by 7 3/8. With the 7 3/8 at the top, we're going to score this at 1/2 inch and at 5/8. Well, if I can keep my paper from sliding. Okay. All right, so there's our pieces again. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to miter from the 1/2 inch score line. We're going to fold and burnish. And then take our bottom flap and glue that on. Okay, that's good. We'll go ahead and miter our side flaps again. And then fold just the first score line, not the gusset score line, and burnish. And then we will glue that on. Okay. Out. And we will fold and burnish again. Okay. All right, and then you can fold over that score line for your gusset, burnish that down. And there you go there. And again on this side, so I'm just pushing it back towards the score mark. Fold and burnish. And there you go. And so we'll do our pockets again. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to cut through where the score lines intersect and then miter on the top. Okay. Straight across, straight across. Okay. Fold and burnish. And see, that one I cut about perfectly. There is no overlap. It's going to lay completely flat. Okay. And again, hello, David. Cape Verde, where is that? I don't know that one. Okay. Hello, Pam Morton from North Carolina. Okay, so again, glue on that bottom tab. All the way to the bottom, outside corner. Burnish that down. There we go there. Same thing on the other side. Oh, west coast of Africa. Awesome. Okay. Very cool. Okay. Fold those up and burnish those down. Okay, then again, we're going to mat this middle section. And I am actually going to do that same paper since I've already got it cut height-wise. So I'm going to go 4 3/8. I'm going to do it, turn it upside down, make sure my paper is also upside down. So that I'm ready to put my waterfall on. Okay. All right. Let's fold and burnish our waterfall. Whoops. That thing's falling over off to the side here. Okay. Sorry, did I score it in the wrong place? No, I'm good. I don't know why I have a second score line on there. Huh. Okay, I think it slid on me actually, I think is what happened, but that's okay. It'll be just fine. Okay, so again, we're going to start at the top with the folio upside down. We're going to center this up at the top of the matting. If you want to go all the way to the top of the folio, you can. It's entirely up to you. Okay, and we're just going to continue on the way all the way down. Okay. And again, just stacking those one beneath the one before. I am just ever so slightly crooked there, aren't I? Just a teensy bit, but not bad. Okay, and then on this last one, we're going to fold that tab back. And go in like so. Okay, so both halves are done. You're going to mat here and here, here. Of course, the back sides of both of those. And this here, you will not mat on this if you're attaching them together. Okay? Oh, I need to fold that bottom gusset up. So to get that little 1/8 inch gusset, I'm just going to pull it back towards me. It will pull right on over where it's supposed to, and there's your gusset. So, I'm trying to think here how I want to do this because I had not intended upon matting with you guys. But you kind of need it matted to really do the belly band right. Or did I fix it so you didn't have to? No, I did fix it so you didn't have to. So, once you've matted the rest, okay, and matting I know is very personal choice. Those of you that have the kit, you have pictures of all of my matting. Of course, I can show you guys in here again what I put where, but I mean, I've already changed it up just by using that green one in that center. So what you're going to do, make sure your folios are right side up. You're going to flip one face down. Actually, you're going to flip them both face down. And then we are going to glue them together, back to back. Okay. I find it easiest to do this. Stand them up, face them into each other, and just make sure that your sides, if you run your fingers down this way, that they feel smooth, like nothing's sticking out too far one side or the other. Okay, and then just squeeze it down the middle just like so, and there you have it. Okay, so the belly band. You're going to take out of your scraps. You should have enough pieces that you'll be able to do this without any hassle. You're going to cut to 5 7/8. Oops. And then we are going to cut it to 2 inches high. Okay. And we're going to cut 2 of these. So you'll just have to kind of look at your scraps. You'll have more than enough because we have an entire sheet of artisan from the kit we haven't even cut into yet. Okay. And then 2 inches. Grab the scoreboard. You're going to put your 5 7/8 at the top. You're going to score this at 1/2 inch, and then 1 1/4. Okay. So no matter how you mat this, even if you do some, you know, you're decorating and everything. I didn't do any of my inside decorating with any kind of dimension. But I mean, Cartabella is heavier paper. I did, you know, mat some cut aparts and things, you know, stickers and that kind of thing. You'll be just fine. It's not going to be too tight. It'll, if anything, it'll be a little bit on the loose side, which is what you want because it makes it easier to take them off and on. Okay. So both of these pieces, you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 1 1/4. Okay. We are then going to miter. And miter. And then fold and burnish just the first tab on both pieces. Okay. I'm going to put glue on one tab, and I'm going to glue it down opposite the tab on the other piece. Hey, Tonalee. Okay. So like so. And then we'll glue our other side. So you'll get your glue on the tab, and then just fold this over and down, burnish it down. Okay. Then give it a second to dry because, you know, you don't want to start folding it and have it immediately pop loose. Then you're going to fold your second score line, so the 1 1/4, and burnish. And there's your belly band. So you will see, especially because this is not matted on the outside or the inside, at this point, this is fairly loose. That's okay. What I did, and this is entirely up to you because quite honestly, I didn't really care for my choices of what I put down here. Once it was done, it was too late to change it. So it was like, it's fine. I can fix it on the second one. What I did here, you'll see, is I've got that cut apart just on some foam tape. Okay. Because what happens then is when we slip our completed belly band on here, it'll come down and it will hit that, and that will act as a stopper so that your belly band isn't going to slide all the way off your project. Okay. Which, I mean, it's not going anywhere right now anyway, but it is a little bit looser than I would typically go because we have to take into account, you know, a little bit of bulk for the matting and whatnot. But you can add the little stopper down at the bottom just to keep it from sliding off the bottom if you want to. It is totally optional. That was just the way I was thinking I wanted it done to design it. Really what I could have done is taken all of these little stickers that I matted and cut and done them on foam squares at the bottom, and so that the belly band would catch on them rather than having my little cut apart here. Okay. But again, it's entirely up to you. You guys do such a great job when you make these projects and decorate them your own way. You don't need my decorating. Unless you want to do it that way. It's entirely up to you. Because I know, you know, sometimes it makes it easier to just follow along and mat it the way somebody else did, because that's, you know, you don't have to think about it. It's done and you move on to the next fun thing. So there we go. That is our project base. Like I said, I typically don't mat on camera because I am the slowest mat and decoration person there is. And like something like this that will take me, you know, 40 minutes to put together will take me 4 hours to mat. So y'all don't need to watch that. All right. Do we have any questions? And of course I know there's the delay, so it will take it just a second. to see if anything pops up. Because otherwise, that's it. That's your project. There are going to be apparently some more kits available, so that will be awesome. And yeah, so there we go. Thank you guys for watching today. I'm going to have to come do another live again at some point. It's been a while, and honestly, the lives always make me nervous, and this was okay. So there we go. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Anne-Marie. And I will take forever to mat. Oh my gosh, I know. I am terrible at matting. Every once in a while, the paper will just strike me just right, and I will just cruise through the matting. But that's like so few and far between. I can't even tell you. So there you go. Have a good Saturday. Have a good rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. And I'm sure I'll see a lot of you at the virtual retreat next weekend. Bye, guys.